So let me say, if you do an electrocardiogram, you might actually have different values, okay? And in these different values, you actually want to determine the mean QRS axis, all right? So in determining the mean QRS axis, there's actually a simple formula for that, all right? But you guys already know, we don't go straight up to the formula. At least we give a refresh, like a brain refreshment of what this um, thing we're talking about actually means. Okay, so determination of mean QRS axis in electrocardiography. This is the main formula right here. Okay, we'll come to it, but let's talk a bit. So that the mean QRS axis in electrocardiography is determined by the following steps. So before you get to the formula, you're expected to do one or two. All right. So identify the QRS complex in the leads 1, 2, 3. So that means you basically have what? The ECG paper, graph paper on your hand. So you identify the QRS complex in the lead 1, lead 2, and 3. Okay. Now next, determine the net direction of the QRS complex in each lead. Okay. If it is a positive deflection, that means the QRS complex is above the baseline. If it's a negative deflection, that means the QRS complex is below the baseline. All right. Now assign a value to each one of the lead based on the net direction. Okay. So lead 1 could be positive or negative, as well as with lead 3, 2. Okay. Now plot the values on a hexaxial diagram or use a calculator to determine the axis. Now calculate the mean QRS axis using the following formula. So this is just what a hexaxial diagram actually looks like. Okay, this is what a hexaxial diagram looks like. I can see the lead 3, lead 2, and lead 1. Okay, so now after you've plotted everything, the diagram you could use to determine the mean axis is what? You could say the axis equals to what? Arctan or arc, okay, of lead 2 plus lead 3 divided by what? Lead 1 plus lead 2, okay? Or another alternative formula for this, or you could say that what? Lead 1 plus lead 2 plus lead 3 divided by 3, which is the most simplest formula for it, okay? So to interpret the mean QRS axis, that's after you've done the math and gotten your value. If it is between minus 30 to 100, minus 30 to plus 100 degrees, it is a normal axis. If it is from minus 30 to what? Minus 90, it is a left axis deviation. If it is between what? Plus 100 to plus 180 degrees, it is a right axis deviation. Okay. So now also the mean QRS axis can also be determined using what? The Carr-Bevel cycle or the Eisenberg what? Square methods. So that's it about how to determine what? The mean QRS axis in electrocardiography. See you guys.